Am I understanding the word Finsta right? That there's like an Instagram account that only your close friends follow? I'm getting old. You're here? Oh my gosh, it's been like a year, I think, since the last time we talked. Sorry. This is really important. Do you want to know what happened last week? My Instagram got hacked. This is a victory story, by the way. It's a success story. It has a happy ending. It was on a Monday. It was gone for about 3.5 days. I lost collectively like 10 to 12 hours of sleep. I skipped meals because I was so panicked, and I shed a lot of tears. A lot. Phase 1, the scam. Let me start off by admitting here and now that I am human. I made a mistake. Anybody can make a mistake. Even the people who we think are perfect can make mistakes, and they do. But I'm doing all I can to learn from it. I will talk about that later. I'm scrolling right here, so I have my notes. A person who doesn't usually talk to me messaged me on Instagram. They DM'd me. It was a link on Instagram to an Instagram video. And I did have the thought thinking, you're in Instagram, why would you send me an Instagram link inside of Instagram? Shouldn't you just send me like the video? Glazed right over that and shouldn't have. Everything was fine for like 3 minutes after that, but that was their gateway to get in. I don't know how. I'm not a hacker. I'm not a criminal. I don't know how hackers and criminals think. This is a good thing. It's also a bad thing in some ways, but mostly good. And so that brought us to their phase 1, the hostile takeover. So like I said, everything was fine for 3 minutes after that, and then I was kicked out, I logged in again, I was kicked out again, I logged in and kicked out, and then my password wasn't working and recovery codes weren't working, or like I was getting recovery codes, but then after getting the code to log in, I was kicked out again. Nothing was making me stay in. Then my emails changed, the phone number was changed, so any kind of recovery effort was going to them. So they changed the email, the password, the phone number, everything, and my personal information was like nowhere to be found except it was my face on my personal page. My heart was pumping, like my face was flushed, I felt emotional, I started to cry, I was panicking, and I was really, really, really ashamed and self-critical, like to a very high level. There was a point that I wanted to hurt myself. And I will urge you that if this ever happens to you, please talk to somebody. Talk to the people that you trust. The more that you talk about what is going on in the moment, they can help you. Other people can help you. Do not keep it to yourself, please. So, later that day, phase 2, Ransom. I don't want to curse, but I want to curse a lot. I want to curse so bad. I was contacted via WhatsApp, another meta thing, but WhatsApp is a little better about something. I was contacted on WhatsApp a couple hours later saying like, hey, how are you? I found your account and it was hacked and I have the code and I want to give it back to you. These people wanted to be my friend. They were acting like my friend, like, oh really? You want to give it back? Okay. I'm ready. I'm not going to say where they were from because it's not fair to say, oh, they were from this country and therefore everybody from this country must be a hacker. That's not fair to anybody. It's not fair to say that about any region of the world, any country of the world. It's not fair to say that because like that's just lumping people in and creating stereotypes where there's already enough and we're already trying to break a lot of stereotypes. Let's not make any more. Anyway, they started to ask and then demand money, and I just went back and forth being like, just give the account back, please, por favor, s'il vous plaît. Bunny, why are you doing this to yourself? Do you have a boss? Are you working for a company? At some point I was thinking, you know, I just came back from a week where I didn't have Instagram and I wasn't taking pictures for the gram. And I was just enjoying life, being present, talking to people, making connections, enjoying what the world has to offer beyond my own house. You know what? It's just pictures. It's just these memories that I've built up with the people. And so you know what? Keep it. I don't even want it back. Just please take my pictures off of it, take all of my identifying information off of it, and have it. I don't even want it anymore. They didn't like hearing any of that, so the more that I was going back and forth, the more that I was like protesting, the more that I was just talking but not sending any money, the price was going up. It went from like 50 to 80 to 100 to 150. I wasn't buying any of it. I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna pay this little bit and then you're gonna give me the password back, and look, it's the wrong password. I know what you're doing. But the idea that they were literally holding it hostage, I went un poquito loca. Anybody who is like, stuff was not computing up here, I understand, because I got there. I mean, who are we kidding? Social media is a giant fabrication of like every person pretending to be happy, happier than they actually are. And who even needs to know that I had pho for lunch other than like my mom and my therapist and like maybe my doctor, who needs to know that I ate that day? And all the time that we spend scrolling or doom scrolling is a distraction from making actual change and putting pressure on like legislators to pass laws that are going to help everybody, like, I don't know, say the right to say what happens and does not happen to your body, to your own body, to your own body. By morning, another one had texted me saying basically the same thing, like, hey, I stole your account from somebody else. I have all of the information and I want to give it back to you. Right. I said, no, you're another scammer. You're another hacker. This person sent me voice messages saying like, don't call me a scam, that hurts my feelings. Do you really not trust me? Hey, I'm a real person. I only work for the company. I really want to help you. I saw your page. The pictures are cute. I want to give it back to you so you can put up more pictures. They really play on your emotions. They really want to manipulate you. I swear on my son, on my life, on my mother. Your mother would be ashamed. Phase 2, my point of view. So like phase 2B. Abandon ship. So since they had control of my account, since they had all the information, for now, I wanted to make sure that they weren't going to hurt any of my friends, my family, anybody that I loved or anybody I cared about, even people who I didn't really care about. I wanted to keep everybody out of harm's way. Turns out, they want your account because your account, if you are a real person and you're putting pictures of like your pets and the food and where you go for walks in the park and where you get your coffee, your account is appearing as legitimate, and Meta won't really do anything to shut your account down without it being like of dire consequence. Even then, I think even if it was dire consequence, they don't really care. I really don't think that they care. After this experience, nah. So hackers, scammers want an account that appears legitimate because it has a history. So with my professional account, this one, I was still able to see my personal account, my personal profile, and I stayed low-key because I'm a ginger ninja, okay? Like, don't mess with me about this. And Anna, Blossom, has two-factor authentication. She has, like, her password changed every 90 days. She's very, very, very protective, so don't mess with her either. So I was looking at my followers, but also my followees, people who I follow, people who followed me, and I was trying to message everybody. At the same time, I was texting, I was calling, I was snapping, I was Snapchatting, I was using WhatsApp, I was going on Facebook Messenger, I was emailing people even. Tell everybody to get out. Even texting people who might know the person that you're trying to reach, like, hey Bill, tell Sarah that she needs to block, report, and unfollow, like all of the above, to get away from my Instagram because it's been compromised. And most importantly, I wanted to protect everybody. I wanted everybody to get out of harm's way, and if that meant losing followers, if that meant burning down the whole thing, Dracarys kind of style, so be it. The key actions here are report and block. You can tell all of your friends to do it, try to get everybody as much as possible to do it. I was trying to get everybody, literally everybody, to report the account and try to get it shut down. In the meantime, I was trying to do like those video selfie things to get back in, but they weren't working. They were not successful. Now we come to a part that I'm going to call real homies / 2C. Real friends know what is you and they know what is not you. I had so many friends, again, all of the platforms where I was reaching out to them, they were also reaching out to me. They were texting, Snapchatting, WhatsApping, they were emailing, they were Facebooking. Some people even called me. Hey girl, I think your Instagram got hacked and I don't think it's you. If you're part of an MLM, there's still time to escape. Otherwise, please give me a call. I really am worried about you. I want to make sure you're okay. Otherwise, I'm going to block you. So meanwhile, a lot of my friends knew what was going on. They already knew, hey, this is hackers. And so when they got DMs or when anything was posted on the profile or on the stories, my friends were all commenting, saying like, F you, loser, get a life. You're stupid, I work at Meta. I'm gonna find you and shut you down. And there was somebody really awesome who, when the hackers were messaging them, like, oh my god, did you message this Bitcoin guru yet? Did you get in contact with her? Somebody responded with that Russell Brand gif. You know, I was going to do that, but then I just decided to keep on living my life. I love my friends so much, so much. Just seriously, shout out to every person who helped me with this. A little more focused. Phase 3. Persist, persist, persist. Persist, 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 persist. Persist, persist. Nevertheless, she persisted. So I was doing several things at the same time. I was doing every possible thing that I could to get in touch with Instagram beyond, I don't know, those email bots that respond to you automatically. I was, like, every hour that I possibly could, I was doing that video selfie thing, and that means that you're going to the login page and you're going through some of the motions and it brings you to a screen where it says, I got hacked. Then it says, are there pictures of you on your account? And you say yes. Then you do the video selfie and it makes you turn your head different ways. It's submitted, and then mine kept getting rejected and rejected and rejected and rejected. You have to keep going. Your face matches the face that's on your account. Another place where persistence matters is that if there is any new content that comes up, if there are posts, if there are stories, you and then your army of homies have to be reporting that all the time. I think that this is how I sleep at night, is that I'm telling myself that that made a difference. That maybe the hackers were noticing, oh no, there's a little blip coming up that this account keeps getting reported, or all the content keeps getting reported by like 100 people. I like to think that that made them nervous. That it wasn't going to be lucrative. That maybe they should stop. This brings us to phase 4. From victim to warrior. So I was on Reddit and I found 2 posts. I found one that was talking about somebody's detailed story about how they got locked out in the same way that I was and how they got back in. Another one had a URL that was circled and highlighted on the page, and I typed in that URL and it led me to a help form that I hadn't seen before, but it had a box where I could type in exactly what was going on, and I could say, this is my real information associated with the profile and the account. This is the imposter's information, the scammer's information. Please help me. Please let a human see this. You have to be your own warrior. You have to be your own savior. Mark Zuckerberg is not going to help you. He is not going to save you. Neither will anybody else at Meta. Unless you know somebody who works at Instagram, who works at Meta, you have to do all of this yourself. And all of the emails that I sent, all of the help forms that I sent, none of them, to this day, a week later, have been unanswered. I know that a week is probably quick turnaround to hope for about getting an account, about getting a response, but that's just way too long for an imposter to have your account. So you're gonna have to do all of this yourself. Part 5, taking control. There's a video on YouTube of a person explaining step by step what to do when your video selfie is successful and you are able to get back into your account. They say that you need your phone, you need your laptop or a separate computer, and you need to have things like saved on your clipboard, or you need to be ready to paste something, the new password, into the field so that you don't have to type it in and think of it and being like, oh, I'm supposed to have that special symbol, should I use a question mark or an exclamation point? Have it ready to go. Anyway, it is very, very helpful, and she lets you know when you are in there and you get that 8-digit authentication code, you need to be very fast. But she tells you what to do when you get that email, when your information is confirmed, and step by step what to do after that, because it's not what I thought to do. So I'm just going to link that in the description, and you can check it out for yourself. I highly recommend that you look at it and save it somewhere, pass it on to somebody else. Phase 6 is when you can let the dust settle, clear the coast. When I had my account back, I went into the DMs and the hackers had messaged basically everybody that I was following or who was following me. They sent out like this massive text. And if you go to a conversation and it says conversation with Instagram user, that person has blocked you, or I think they've blocked you. And then under Instagram user, it might have what their username was to you. If you want to recover this connection, I recommend that you write down the username in your notes, you write it on your laptop, you write it down by hand, and you look for a way to reconnect with them later, again, maybe through a backup account, maybe inform other people who know them that the coast is clear, it's safe to come out, ollie ollie oxen free, it's you again in your account, and they can friend you again. A lot of the messages that they sent was just sent. Like, you sent this a couple days ago and it hasn't been seen yet. Then a lot of them were left unread. This is another part where I think I was not the best person to hack, because I'm not an influencer. I don't have that kind of pull. I mean, why do you think like funny.cat_vids was going to click on your Bitcoin link? Another thing I will say happened with me is that I lost followers, and this is not a big price to pay. For me, protecting the people that I care about outweighs, that positive outweighs the negative of losing a follower. I will say with this process, be patient. Be patient with other people, and be patient with people about if they're skeptical, especially if they were DM'd by the hackers and they're nervous. But also be patient with yourself, because for me it was an exhausting process of, it was fun, but it was also an exhausting process of talking to everybody, and everybody saying like, how do I know that it's really you? A lot of people were just saying, how did we meet? For me, losing followers is a small price to pay for, it's hardly a price if it means keeping everybody safe. Okay, now to the tips. Are you ready? I flipped my hair for this part. Now to the tips for prevention. In no particular order. Two-factor authentication. You can use an app like Duo Mobile, or you can use another app that you trust. Maybe you use it for work already. You can use WhatsApp, you can use text messaging. WhatsApp is still meta, but you know, it's all failing now. Like, it's either that or Google owns everything now. I recommend that you change your passwords and your PINs every 60 or 90 days, and write down your passwords in a notebook, have them saved somewhere, put them in a locked fireproof safe if you really want to, if that's your style. So far as the interpersonal parts, it's something that I recommend generally for a lot of people, that if you are in trouble and there are people that you trust, that when you can go to them, you have some kind of coded language, you have a safe word, if you will, you have a phrase, or there's something that you have between you and that person, that if you say it, then they will understand what you mean. That if you are in danger but you're able to make a phone call, or you're able to have a conversation with somebody and leave some kind of breadcrumb or leave some kind of clue, and it's something like, you know, the series Claws on TNT, they just wrapped out their 4th season. This is not a spoiler, it's in the 1st season. Her code phrase, or her code term with her friends was ambrosia salad, or even ambrosia something, and she said it to somebody who didn't really understand, but somebody else could put it together, and then they knew that she was in trouble and they saved her life. Have some networks and support systems. Again, I am eternally grateful to all of my friends, because I have different hobbies and I have therefore different circles of friends, and so there are different group texts that I could go to, and I could tell them, hey, this is what's going on, I need you guys to step up for me, I need to call in a favor, and I would do the same thing for anybody else there. We know this because everybody's like, yep, no questions asked, as you say, let's go. And so I am really grateful for them, and my mom helped me a lot. When I finally opened up to her what was going on, she was patient with me. she didn't know all of the right things to say, but she at least wasn't making it worse. I relied on my therapist a lot, and I told my therapist, who said, you can call the police about this. And she had other advice about, preventing any further damage and then doing damage control later. One thing my therapist also said was give yourself some compassion. Pursue self-care. Because this is a stressful time. This is a stressful thing to experience. It was really stressful for me. Remember when I said that I was skipping meals and missing sleep? It sucked. And lastly, and this is the thing that was going to circle back to that real homies thing, be your genuine self. When you are yourself and you are your quirky, weird, or however they want to describe you, however your friends would describe what is uniquely you, when the more that you are your genuine self and you are telling the truth, you're being honest with people, you are being true to yourself, you're honoring yourself, and you're also honoring them because it's making it easier for people to build bonds with you. And that, I think, is what ultimately helped me a lot and probably helped the recovery process of getting control of my account back, was that everybody was able to spot, like, she usually posts like pictures of books and tea and her pets and a tree, flowers, the occasional selfie. And so that's how people were able to recognize, like, oh, okay, suddenly she's putting up like a picture of a car, a brand new car. I didn't know that she was into cars. And so little flags were going up for everybody, and they were coming to me saying, hey, I don't think that this was you, but just in case it was, is it? But they were already skeptical, and that's because everywhere I go, it's always me. Wherever you go, there you are. So if you are completely done with this, you've gotten all the information that you need, you saw my face, and you're satisfied for today, you're free to go. See you later. For those who do want to stick around, I want to give an acronym to you because as an educator, as a teacher, I love acronyms, and as a word person, I especially like acronyms. AFLO, or AFLO, another effing learning opportunity. But it's a normal thing, and it's a very human thing to want to make connections, to want to trust, to want to help even. There is a story of a tenured professor. When I was doing my research phase of this whole thing, there is a story of a tenured professor from University of Michigan. University of Michigan. A tenured professor who got a phone call saying, like, their relative was in trouble and they needed to help them, so they needed to, like, stay on the phone with the scammers, and they needed to go into different stores and get, like, gift cards. And finally a clerk was like, oh yeah, I've seen this before. So even really, 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 really ridiculously smart people can fall for scams. Like I said at the beginning of this, I am human, so are you, I'm pretty sure. And falling for a scam doesn't make you an idiot. It doesn't make you stupid. It makes you a human. It means that you have a heart. It means that you want to believe the best in people. It means that you want to trust. And that's not a bad thing. There's so many people walking around with trust issues, myself included, because I think we all have them. But there are enough problems already, and having a heart, having emotions, having feelings is not a bad thing. What I am here to do, and what I want to help you with, as well as help myself, is to understand our emotions and understand how people might try to manipulate that or prey on those emotions, and sometimes think like a criminal in order to dodge. What does help is to talk to people about what you're experiencing. If you have even the slightest idea, I know it's so much easier said than done, if you have the slightest idea that this may not be real, do some kind of litmus test, do some kind of fact checking, do something that it needs to go through another checkpoint before you make an action, before you take another step, because that can probably help you. If I had talked to literally anybody else about what was going on instead of trying to solve it on my own and taking care of it, because that's my expectation of myself as an adult, that I'm supposed to handle all this stuff on my own. If I had talked to anybody else, they would have said, oh my gosh, I know what this is, and I can help you by helping you get out of it. So what can I do that's going to be a little bit more helpful for my brain, my body, my soul, my spirit, for the relationships that I have, for my hydration levels. So if I can leave you with any final parting words, if this is not longer than it already has to be, it is to just be reflective, have some thinking going on, maybe more than what we already do, and ask questions. I passed along everything that I possibly could to police and to other resources that were going to be helpful or that might do anything about it, and otherwise it's just raising awareness. For one, it's starting a conversation. For two, it's spreading information, and hopefully it's the right information. The thing about this is that I urge you to find a silver lining. If you are experiencing this, if you know somebody who is experiencing the loss of an account, if they don't have control of it right now and they're trying to regain access, recover in any way, if there were finances involved, they are not alone in that. You are not alone in that. There's so many people. The FBI, the federal government, has an entire site where you can report fraud, you can report scam, you can even report like catfishing. I can't say that if you file that the federal government can do anything for you, but you can definitely, and I think you should, call the police, tell the police about it. If there's anything financial going on, call your credit card, your debit card, call your bank, call Cash App, call PayPal, call Zelle, Venmo. I think I'm forgetting one, but call any of them and explain, this was a scam. They took money from me. I want it back. And I have proof. And so take screenshots, gather any kind of evidence that you can, if there are phone numbers connected to that. Ultimately, social media and use of your phone and technology as a broad setting, but social media in this case, Instagram, is what you make it out to be. It is going to be how you use it. It has the power that you give to it. So like I said before, it could be a distraction. It can bring a lot of joy. It can also bring up a lot of unpleasant, uncomfortable feelings that you didn't know were there. Instagram, social media, and really anything in the world only has the power that you allow it to have, including words. So I'm going to wrap it up. I hope you have a good time, whatever time of day it is for you, and if it's not good right now, I hope it will be soon. I hope you are well until next time, and in the meantime, please be safe and healthy and pursue your heart's desire unapologetically. It was really great to see you again. I hope that any of the information in this video was helpful to you. If it was not helpful to you, I urge you to pass it on, file it away somewhere so it can be shared. Pass this to somebody who you think might need to hear it. I'm forgetting what kind of exit lines I had for Blossom before because it's been a while, but maybe we can make up some new ones. I'm pretty sure it was something like, I'm a blossom, you're a blossom, we all blossom too. That might do. I forgot to say, if you want to know what I've been up to, if you want to see a catch-up video, this video needs to get more than 10 likes. And then I need to get at least 10 questions. YouTube playing like music on my TV, and it keeps giving me ads. Blech. It's a commercial. Oh, we're gonna do a different music video now. It's been more than an hour. Cool.